Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here tonight. I'm honored to have been part of the Affirmation Conference. We've come here to mourn, but most importantly, we've come here to mobilize. I bring a message from the Family Acceptance Project, a message of hope. This is the first research-based intervention project that's worked for almost a decade with very diverse families. We've identified over 100 different ways that parents and caregivers show acceptance and rejection of their gay, LGBT, transgender children. We can now show behaviors that give us hope as children, behaviors like having an openly LGBT friend, participating in a support group, learning about our identity. When families reject these behaviors, they put our children at a 9 times greater risk of taking their own lives. We can also show families the behaviors that promote well-being in their gay and transgender children, the behaviors that protect them from risk, reduce suicide, hopelessness, and homelessness. The exciting thing is that we do this work with families from all ethnic and religiously diverse backgrounds. We do our work here in San Francisco in English, Spanish, and Chinese. There are now 14 countries that are following our work, using our materials, using our approach. Thank you. Tomorrow I'm actually leaving at 4:30 a.m. to go to Salt Lake to speak at the first conference on family acceptance that was motivated by our research. It's a regional conference. Thank you. Some of the LDS religious leaders, the Mormon religious leaders, have asked to meet with me to learn more about this work. In 2 weeks, we take our project to China in several cities across the country to present to families there. And in China, we'll be meeting at a conference of families with gay and transgender children. The most exciting thing is that families, we know this, they love their children. And what we learned from our research is that those families that are rejecting are actually acting out of love and concern. And now that we can show them which behaviors put their children at a 9 times greater risk of suicide, a 6 times greater risk of depression, a 4 times greater risk of substance abuse and HIV and homelessness and hopelessness, families change their behaviors. They can become more supportive. So I bring a message of hope. This is so important. We're developing family education materials in different languages at different literacy levels. We actually, for 2 years, have been developing family stories, video stories, extraordinary short stories that show these stories of hope and transformation. We hear too often the stories of despair, and we have got to tell the stories of hope. I hope you'll join with us in helping us get our messages, information, publications, and resources out all over, including all over the world. Thank you very much.
Hope. Hope. That's one word that we've been hearing a great deal this evening, and it is befitting. Right here in this building, across the street, we lost one of our greatest leaders of our community, slain himself by fear and ignorance. And what Harvey told us is that hope will never remain silent. Hope will never remain silent. We gather here tonight to meditate, to have some silence as we honor the lives of these young people that we have lost to fear and ignorance. But anyone out there that sees our moment of silence as a surrender, be so warned. We will not surrender. We will not lose another young life to ignorance, to fear and intolerance. To our president, hear us. You say that you are a fierce advocate. Well, Brother Obama, say something else. Do something. Stand up for our children. We're doing our part. You do your part. We are in a state of crisis. I would ask you, Brother Obama, if your daughters were facing the same types of cruelty and bullying at their school, I doubt seriously that you would remain silent. Now that's a fierce statement to make, and I mean every word of it. We want our president to act. We want him to stand with us. We want our Congress to act. I have been asked by some of our most fierce advocates here in San Francisco, including Kelly Rivera Hart, to remind everyone that we need to ask Congress, we need to demand of Congress that on October the 12th, this Tuesday, that the Safe Schools Bill and the Student Non-Discrimination Bill gets passed now. Now. We're not going to surrender. We will not be silent, and we will not lose another life to bullying. We need safe schools now. Bullying is a form of terror. We've used that term a great deal in the last several years in this country. When we can't send our children to schools, when they can't go to a playground, when they can't walk down the street and round the corner without fear of their safety and their lives from other children, other people's children, there's something wrong. And when they take their lives because of the torture and the cruelty of that fear, there's something terribly, terribly wrong. I want to also make sure that we note some of our other friends and allies that are here, the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club, Equality California. We've got our veterans of war here, and we thank them. Our sisters, our sisters are perpetual indulgence. I love my sisters. And there are other groups that are here as well, and we thank you. And our next speaker is none other than the wonderful, vivacious, effervescent, full of energy and brilliance, Miss Danielle Askini.
I want to say thank you to everybody out there. My name is Danielle Askini. I'm the National Program Manager at GSA Network, which is a organization that works around the country serving LGBT young people. I go around the country working with young people in places like Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Indiana, Maine, Massachusetts. I travel all over the country working with young people who are making change. GSA Network has launched with 50 of our partners nationally and locally here in California a project called the Make It Better Project, which you can see at makeitbetterproject.org and find out more about the October 12th Day of Action that Andrea was talking about, where young people, the Make It Better Project, where we're trying to encourage young people and our adult allies to make videos about how they're going to make their schools better and how adults can make schools better right now to stop the bullying and harassment that has tormented our community for decades. It's nothing new. We've lost so many lives needlessly. As a young person in high school, I transitioned in Portland, Maine in 1998. And it was one vice principal who stood up for me, Kathy Bouchard, who, if YouTube videos make it out there, a shout out to Kathy Bouchard, one vice principal who stood up to the bullies and said, no, this is gonna stop. She went to every teacher in my school and told them, no, this is gonna stop. She was the first adult in my life in a school that said, no, no more bullying, no more harassment. I was able to transition in Portland, Maine. I was able to go on to college with her help. And I know for a fact that adult allies can really make a huge impact in young people's lives. And I know as a young person, I started a Gay Straight Alliance to bring that change, that space that had been made, yes, There are over 4,000 gay-straight alliances across this country. Young people are making it better now. So my message to everyone is to not only mourn the dead, but to encourage those young people who are living in terrible circumstances across this country, to support them through supporting organizations like Trevor and GLSEN and GSA Network and local LGBT organizations to help young people make change by making it better. Again, the website is makeitbetterproject.org. Thanks so much.
I have to take just a moment and appreciate where I'm at. My God, San Francisco, do you know the power that you have in this place? I grew up in West Virginia, and I never dreamed that I would be in San Francisco among this community, but I'm here. This is San Francisco, and you are brilliant, you are wonderful, and you have an amazing voice in the LGBTQ community. So take a moment and appreciate that. I have two brief things to say, and one is a message that we spread on the Soulforce Equality Ride to people out there who grew up like me in isolation without any known gay people or gay-friendly people or trans people around them. And I want to share this message with those people that are present here tonight, and not only do I want you to hear it, I want you to receive it. So when I say it, I want you to repeat it. So I'm going to tell you that you are loved, and I want you to say, I am loved. Are you ready? You are loved.
I am loved.
You are whole.
I am whole.
You are good.
I am good.
You are fantastic.
I am fantastic.
You are fabulous.
I am fabulous.
And you are. Please don't forget it. Spread it to other people. Let them know they are good, they are whole, they are fantastic. There is no reason for anyone to leave this planet prematurely. None. No reason. The second brief thing I want to say is addressed to those who aren't here and those who aren't happy that we've assembled. For those who would say that being who we were created to be is a choice, I would say to them that bigotry is a choice, hatred is a choice, intolerance is a choice, bullying is a choice. Being who you were created to be is not a choice, it is being who you are. And I want to close with my message to those people. And I stole this right out of Prayers for Bobby. So, there are children sitting in your congregations. Unknown to you, they will be listening as you echo amen. And that will soon silence their prayers. Their prayers to God for understanding and acceptance and for your love. But your hatred and fear and ignorance of the word gay, and I would add transgender, bisexual, lesbian, pansexual, intersex, and queer, anything else you might want to add in there, will silence those prayers. So before you echo amen in your home and your place of worship, think and remember that a child is listening. That's my message to you. Thank you for your attention. I want to bring onto the stage someone very important to me and in my process and my life. I want to introduce the Executive Director of Soulforce. She's also a member of the HRC's Faith and Religion Council and the developer of the Would Jesus Discriminate Project. My boss, the one who signs my paychecks, and she's amazing. The Reverend Dr. Cindy Love. Please welcome her.